Massive welcome to the winter series. We're here at Farlows Lake and it is Baltic. So cold, in fact, it's snowing and everything. The van is showing 1 degree at the moment and it is very, very cold out here. But Farlows, Lake 1, it's got winter form. I've caught fish out of here when it's been Baltic in the past and I've had some great sessions here. So let's hope that we can have a great session here for the cameras and obviously for the winter series. So we're going to be fishing Lake 1, which is around about 26 acres in size. Loads of big ones in Lake 1. There's 60 plus 30s in here and they go up to 45 pound. There's 2 other lakes on the complex as well. You've got Lake 2, which has got around about 700 carp in, and they go up to 30 pound in Lake 2, which is around about 6 acres. And then you've got a tiny little pond for the kids to have a little bit of fun on. So it is a great complex for everyone, basically. You know, it suits everyone's needs over at Farlows. There's a calf on site as well as Eric's angling as well. So everything you could wish for in a fishery. All I'm wishing for now is a little bit of warm weather so that I can feel my hands. So it is freezing cold, like I've said, but I'm going to be joined by Chris Bones. Now, Chris Bones can't get down until tomorrow, unfortunately, but he's going to join me and we're going to be fishing over on Scott's Point, which has had winter form for myself in the past. I did really well here a couple of winters back and had around, I think it was 39 odd fish from Scott's Point. So going to be talking about all my tactics and everything that I do over at Farlows Lake. In the meantime, going to get the barrow loaded, get round to the swim and get that stove on. It's freezing. Tell you what, it is absolutely freezing. I haven't done a lot. I've mostly just hung over the stove, just trying to get some feeling back into my fingers. But on the plus side, I have got 1 rod out. So, woohoo, yes, 1 rod. Although 1 rod's done me well out of here in the past anyway. So, yeah, I've got 1 rod out on the money spot, the spot that did me, you know, many bites in the cold. A while back, a couple of winters ago I think it was now. I don't think it was last winter, I think it was a winter before. So yeah, luckily enough I had the spot wrapped up, or the spot marked out on my swim mapper at 16 3/4 wraps out to the second island that's out there. And yeah, that's the spot that did me a lot of bites in the winter. I mean, it stopped snowing now at least, it's just raining. So oh God, my fingers are, it is so cold out here. It's not nice at all. There's people on the opposite bank packing up in the pouring rain. Ah, just total madness at the minute out here. Well, it's meant to get a lot warmer tonight. It needs to get a lot warmer, to be fair. But the app's telling me that it's going to be 10 degrees tonight. Can't quite see how that's going to happen, but it's definitely a little bit warmer than earlier, maybe 2 degrees at the minute. So, but that's only because I'm hovering over the stove. So yeah, I've just gone in with tiny little mesh bags of crumb boilies, another schoolboy error, checked the freezer and I've run out of switch. I've done all my switching this winter over on Orchid. A couple of weeks ago, used a load of it over there, so yeah, didn't replenish the freezer. I sort of semi looked in it a couple of weeks back, thinking, oh, I've got loads of switch in there, and it wasn't, it was nutter. So, you know, that don't matter. Bit of nutter out there in the pond. Like I say, little mesh bags. I'm using maggot hook baits though over the top. So I normally, you know, I chuck out little bags of maggots, but I've got in with little bags of crumb, little bit, you know, a little bit more pungent, obviously, the crumb boilie is. So yeah, just crumbed up a few of the little 8mm and put a couple in there whole as well, chucked them out on the money spot, and yeah, winter fishing at its finest with one rod. I'm still confident, as mental as that is, you know, the fact that it is pouring with rain, it's 2 degrees, it was snowing, I still do feel confident of a bite. So we shall see what happens. It does look grim, I must admit, it looks proper grim out there, but you know, it is what it is. So we will plug away at it and hope that something happens. But at the moment, I'm just going to hover over this stove like the wimp that I am. And hope that this rain lets up. Saying it ain't going to let up at all until later on tonight. So EVA bag fishing in the rain isn't ideal. Not recommended, but you've got to do what you got to do to get a bite in winter. So we shall see what happens. But in a minute, it's not looking great. I finally managed to actually get 3 rods in the water. So I've basically just chucked 2 rods out in open water that you can see behind me. So 1 rod fishing to the snag island and 2 rods out in open water. So just gone in, same tactics, all 3 rods, little mesh bags of crumb nutters and maggot hook baits on all 3 rods. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably start changing the colours up a little bit, maybe on the hook baits. I'm fishing with 2 yellows and 1 white, so it'd be mega to catch one in these conditions. It really would be nice. So all 3 rods out there in the pond finally. Only taken all day to get all 3 rods out, but that's winter fishing for you. I'm going to go and hover back over the stove where it's nice and warm. Right, well, it's 3:30 in the morning and I've had one, yes! And that one, absolutely beautiful. I'm buzzing to be off the mark. So it's not going to get light for another 4 or 5 hours, what, 5 hours? About 4 hours, I've over-exaggerated that. Absolutely buzzing to be off the mark with this one. £20, 1 ounce on the nutter crumb. So a tiny little mesh bag of nutter crumb with me maggot hook baits, and this is the result. Absolutely buzzing, yes! Oh. Considering how cold this fish is, it fought really, really well. So yeah, I'm gonna get him back to his watery home. Oh, I'm so buzzing to be off the mark. Yes! Thank you, darling. Nice!
So I'm here, I'm with Mozza and I'm late. The reason I'm late is that Mozza rang me last night and said, buddy, it's 10 o'clock, it's snowing, it's raining, don't wait at the gate because you're going to have to set up in that. So, being a mildly fine weather angler, I decided to turn up this morning. We've come down to Farlows Lake to finish off the winter series. This lake I've been down quite a few times, I haven't fished it massively, once in a competition and a couple of times on socials, that's about it. It is a fantastic lake and I really should spend a lot more time here. Know a lot of the local lads, there's so many pretty fish to go at. I know Mozza had one in the night last night, so I'm buzzing to get the rods out. I've had my marker out, I've had a flick about, found some spots. One at 21 wraps, it's quite clear and soft, it seems to pull into what feels like gravel. Now I'm well aware in Farlows there is a lot of mussels. I did bring back a little bit of mussel shell. So in order to combat that, I'm going to have to think very carefully about what I'm using mainline wise to ensure it's nice and strong. I don't want to be getting cut off on the mussels. Another spot just off an island. There is a lot of islands in Farlows. There's a lot of overhanging trees and I know a lot of fish get caught from it. So I found a little spot just off the island that's also nice and clear. I'm going to put one rod on there, probably on a bag, just a very small little bit of bait. Very simple. The other spot I'm going to bait very lightly and I'm going to see how the session progresses really. Only here till tomorrow lunchtime, so we've got just over 24 hours. Me and Mozza are going to do our best to try and bag you a few fish. If we don't, then that's life if we're fishing in the winter. It has warmed up today, so it is mildly more pleasant than the snow that Mozza had to set up in yesterday. Sorry Moz, but I like being warm and dry. So yeah, so let's crack on. We're going to get on with it now and show you the bits that we're going to do.
Well, what a difference a day makes. Oh, this time yesterday, I was just in hell. That's what it felt like anyway. Freezing cold and not the one, but now there's a big bright thing up in the sky and I'm catching some rays. Yes, loving life. But yeah, buzzing to have that one early hours of this morning, and yeah, unfortunately, there's not been any other bites that have come my way. I thought I was definitely going to get another bite this morning. You know, it warmed up, it felt right for it, but just didn't happen, unfortunately. And the lake's got really busy now as well. So whether that pushes any fish this way, who knows? But obviously Bonesy's here with me now. He's just getting his rods out, getting all sorted. So yeah, we're here for another 24 hours in the hope that we can both catch a few more. And we've made a little pact as well. Whoever catches a fish that isn't a carp has to make the tee for the rest of the session. So come on the solid bad rig, Bonesy. So yeah, I'll run through my rig and you know exactly how I caught that fish this morning a little bit later. But in the background I've got some sausages sizzling away that have got my name on them. Nice.
What you need to add is just a little bit of nutter. And then, not forgetting the prime nutter spot syrup. You can feel it as it slides down.
That is some serious wind knottage. He's not going to be happy. Oh dear. Oh, the brain. Oh no. He's on the ad line. Oh, poor sod. What's going on, Bones?
This is what is more commonly known, Mozza, as karma. About 10 minutes ago, you attracted me to the attention of the gentleman on the opposite side of the lake that had a frap up so large that I think he actually would have had to have re-spooled. To which we had a little chuckle to ourselves, didn't we? And laughing, oh bless him, look, dragging his spot in. And what happens? My first cast out with the spom, and what do I get but a frap? It's only a small frap, and I think,
I think you'll pick that.
I might be able to pick it out, but if I don't pick it out, I get frustrated, pull it really tight, and then cut it off and just retie my leader. But it should come out. It should come out. Yeah. You might have to put this on fast forward though, Moz, if I get this bad boy out.
No, it's good viewing.
Good viewing?
Yeah.
We haven't caught any fish. So what did you do while you were at Farlows? Oh, well, we untangled Bonesy's crap. You know, it's not like he spods a lot or anything like that. You know,
getting there, mate.
I don't. I get very frustrated very quickly with them.
Yeah,
Callum Guttridge.
You get in there, definitely.
Callum Guttridge is very good at unpicking these, and he's unpicked them for me before. I get really frustrated, and then I start losing my temper like I am now. And any minute now, I'm going to pull this really tight and cut it off. And that's what's going to happen now. So I'm going to right, that's going tight, and I'm just going to cut it.
No, I think you should carry on with
No.
Yeah.
I'm retying my leader on and re-wrapping up.
No, I think you should carry on.
No.
What a waste of
No,
braid.
it's a waste of braid. I will waste the braid. I will waste it. I'm lucky. I've managed to only waste maybe 5 metres, 10 metres. In fact, we'll have a workout. I'll retie it and we'll work out how much braid I've wasted through pure karma. I reckon I've lost 2 rod lengths. We were wrapped at 21. So, I'll go. What are you guessing, Lee? Loser makes the tea.
2.5 rod lengths.
Oh, sneaky, I didn't see that one coming. I went overzealous. 17, 18, if it goes past. I
am the one to where you need a gun to
Ready? What? You were bang on, weren't you? Were you? 18 and a half, 19 and a half, 20, oh, you were, yeah.
I am the one to where you
Oh, that means I got to make the tea. Oh, nuts. I ain't making tea as well. There we go, in the clip. So as you can see, that was quicker than me unpicking it. And this is how we're going to fill this video, with the things Bonesy gets wrong while fishing.
So just before I go and do another reach, I thought I'd show you the rig that did me that bite this morning. And it's a rig that's done me loads of bites in the winter. You've probably seen it before. It's my little maggot rig where you use the 2 hooks. So I've got hook inside the little bit of plastic corn here. One that did me the bite was the white, but you know, nighttime, irrelevant what colour it was, pitch black. So a couple of maggots on there. I only ever use 2 maggots, so I only have to buy myself a pint, or if I'm feeling tight, I just buy myself half a pint just for hook baits. And then the little mesh bag is just a little mesh bag of nutters. Now, I've done well in the past using the switch. I got the bite last night on the nutters. There's a couple of whole 8mm in there, as well as a load of crushed 8mm as well. So just a tungsten hook link, a new hook link that I've been using that's really ultra heavy, pins down to the bottom of the lake bed, and on a leg clip system as well. So that is the little beauty that got me that one and only bite last night. Could do with a few more today though, so right, I'm going to chuck this back out in the pond and pray for another bite.
So we're getting on for 3 o'clock. Neither of us have had a bite. We haven't really seen anything either. I think you can get, with this weather warming up today, you can get a little bit like, oh, it's much warmer, the fish are going to, you know, get involved. We've had the zigs out with the brighter weather, haven't had a touch on them, put a very, very small amount of bait over the top of them, to no avail. I know Mozza's been moving his baits around these islands to the right of us, where he's been getting the odd knock, but it's difficult to tell. There's a lot of bird life out here, and you know, with the weed and things, the line can sit on top of the weeds, the birds can go down into the weed, it can give you that little indication. So it's hard to tell whether it's fish or birds. But what I'm going to do now, with it starting to drop darkness, I'm going to put a little bit more bait out, get a little bit of that boilie out there, onto the baited spot. I'm going to keep one upstairs and I'm going to put one downstairs. So I'm going to put one on the deck, I'm going to keep one of the zigs out there just for now, till it starts getting really dark. I may leave one out through the night. I haven't quite decided yet. It depends how I feel, like where the fish might be. My other spot on the island, I'm going to keep that pretty much the same as it is. I'm just going to, you know, keep changing the bag and just keep it out there. You know, move the spot mildly. You know, rod length here, rod length there. It can make a big difference at this time of year. But I think more than anything, you can get overconfident when all of a sudden it gets warm. The lake's got very, very busy with this warm weather, so everyone's thinking the same. Oh, the fish are going to get on it. We are going into, is it 12 degrees later on, Moz, tomorrow? over to 12 degrees tomorrow. So hopefully a nice warm day tomorrow, warm evening, warm day in the morning. Hopefully we'll get some fish feeding, but for now I'm going to get a little bit of bait out, change those rods over, and we'll see if we can bag on through the night. See how they see it? Look at them. So here's a little tip for you with seagulls. A lot of seagulls become very spooky at the spawn. So when you're spodding out, leave the spawn there for a second, like you used to with an old school spod, where you'd allow it to empty. What it does is it stops the seagulls landing straight away and attacking the bait as it's falling. So I'll count to about 10 and then retrieve it. And as soon as you retrieve it, the seagulls don't dive on it as much. If I put it in and then retrieve it straight away, then they start diving. So it's a little trick for you there. When you're spodding out and there's a lot of seagulls, just leave the spawn in the water for a second. They tend to avoid it because they know that it's something alien, and you don't waste as much bait.
Sorry, right, we have to start again because I didn't have the microphone on.
I don't actually know. It dropped back massively. Oh no.
What is it? It's a prep, isn't it?
I'm gonna have to make all the tea, Moz. It's not only a bream, it's half decent bream. Look at that, Moz. It's actually half decent.
I can't see it. I can't see it. You're gonna have to hold it up for the camera.
I'll hold it up for the camera. I'll take one for the team. This winter when we've had fight, was the rod that took 10 casts to get in the perfect spot. And it's obvious I got it in the perfect spot because I caught off it. So that's 1-1 to me, Mozza, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Last year we caught pike. This year we've got 3. Oh, hello, darling. Oh, she's a banger. You know what? This is what it's all about for me, Moz. I spent a good half an hour getting that spot baited, getting the rig. 10 casts it took me to get that rig right in the perfect spot. Batted down, it was beautiful. Sat down to eat my dinner, absolutely buzzing, that was bang on. And this is my prize. There she is. Oh, she's fantastic. I mean, look at her. Look at it, Moz. That's absolutely ruined my day. All that time spent. She's still a beautiful creature. She's still part of our quarry. The only difference is normally I'll be sat on a matchbox for you. But off you go. If you give me a carp, I'll be quite happy. Come on then, baby. That's what it's all about, Moz. That's what it's all about.
Oh dear. What's it done?
Anything we ever do.
You're not getting that rod back out. You ruined me time lapse.
Box. Where's my pole?
Interview time with Christopher Burns. Perhaps you should come up with some little jingle for it.
Here at DNA News, we have anchor Lee Mozza Morrison with Bonesy for sports.
Right then, dude.
Yeah.
I've written down some questions
Crikey.
that I think people would like to know, especially people coming to Farlows for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to go to a day ticket for your first time, would you do any prep at home?
Being a matchman, I've always got prep. So yeah, I would always have a small array of rigs tied up. I'll have a few bottom bait rigs, some pop-up rigs, some zig rigs, because I think when you arrive at lake, time is the key. You know, we don't all get lots and lots of time to go fishing, and if you're out for 24 hours, any time you can save by doing it at home means you save it on the bank. Having the rods ready with some leaders on that you know you'll probably be able to use. I know at Farlows the rules state that you're not allowed any braided leaders, so I'm using 19 pound fluorocarbon leaders. They do allow a fluorocarbon or a mono leader, just no braided, so they're all on the rods ready. I've got 4 rig boxes in my bivvy, so that just shows how many rigs I bring with me. There's probably 100 rigs tied in there. So there is plenty of prep. As much research as you can. You know, there's plenty of people that fish Farlows, there's plenty of footage on the internet. you know, keep an eye on that, see what's going on. I know with the competitions we tend to do that quite a lot. I know a lot of the guys who fish down here quite regularly, Wayne Mansford, Brad Greening, them guys, you know, a quick phone call to them. They can give you a bit of an insight into what's going on, where are the good pegs. I do know that the arm that is down the other end of the lake is doing a lot of fish at the moment. Unfortunately, I know also that it seems to be very, very busy, that swim. There's a lot of people coming. We've come into Scott's Right. It's a very well-known peg. You've got so many options here, it's good. But yeah, prep-wise, I tend to just bring a little bit of everything. Try not to carry the kitchen sink, but good array of rigs, a little bit of bait that you know has worked on here previously, and yeah, that's about it.
So you get to Farlows, first ever time you've been here.
Yeah.
What would be the first thing you would do?
Talk to the bailiff, find out where the fish have been coming from. You know, lakes like this, especially in winter, the fish can hold up in an area quite well. So I'd have a little chat with the bailiff, see what he's got to say. Normally they're the best information. You know, on Farlows you've also got the shop. These guys are here day in, day out. They know where the fish are coming from. Go and see them. They know what they're coming to. They can give you a good insight into what's going on. Then once that's done, go and have a little scout of the area. You know, you can still see fish at this time of the year. It's not quite as well as you can in the summer, but you can still see them. They will give themselves away in little bits. So yeah, so I'd head to those areas that's been producing, see if I can get anywhere near the fish, see if there's fish there really.
Funniest thing you've ever seen on the bank?
Karma earlier on, remember? Instant karma. Oh, I've seen so many things, you know, things that have happened to myself, things that have happened to other people. I remember getting a hook stuck in my finger once and Tom Maker nearly being sick watching me pull it out with a pair of pliers. That was quite funny.
Sounds more gory than funny.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. It went right in, right up to the bend. But it's a case of just yank it out, and he weren't too impressed with that. Lots of people falling in, people getting booties. That's always quite funny. I fell in once while filming. That weren't so funny. Yeah, there's all sorts of things, especially the old tricks of turning people's bivvies round and giving them the one-toners. You know, there was that app about for a while that played bite alarms. You know, you stitch loads of people up. Yeah, I've had great fun on the bank.
The worst thing you've ever seen in a match? Now, bearing in mind you've obviously fished a lot of matches abroad.
Yeah.
You do the World Championships, the British Championships. You know, without sort of like digging anyone out. What's the worst thing you've ever seen?
There's worst as in the worst behaviour, or
I've heard some crazy things of like especially out abroad where other people have cast over someone playing a fish to make them lose it. Fish.
That sort of stuff does go on in the European matches. One of the strange rules in an international match is that if you land a fish, it counts as yours. So if the guy next door is playing a fish and it kites and gets tangled in your lines, and you reel it in and get it in your net, it counts for you, even if your rig's nowhere near its mouth.
Really?
Yeah, and that's one of the actual rules that's in the internationals. So when we're fishing under international rules with FIPS, with the England team and stuff, that's a rule that actually stands.
So that's why this geezer's cast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a bit of that go. Yeah, it's always difficult in the matches, especially with like boundaries and things like that. You know, this year when we were out in Hungary, the boundaries were a little bit wrong to start with, and they had to get adjusted slightly. But it's not an easy thing to do, lay out these boundaries when there's 28 nations with three pairs of anglers fishing for each nation. It's a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, international rules, that's quite naughty. Yeah, I'd say the weirdest, not worst, but the weirdest thing I ever came across was we were out in France a few years ago, and I was out with Kev Hewitt, and Kev Hewitt was fishing next to Carl Pitchers, and Kev had all three of his lines cut just past the tips, about a metre past the tips. Now his rods were just into the water, he'd got 3 out on the spot, and just a metre past the tips, all 3 lines cut. Literally like someone had walked past with a pair of scissors and gone clip, 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 clip in the dark. And it was it freaked Kev out a little bit, because he was like, what's going on? What is in this lake that could possibly cut 3 lines that clean?
So what, he's got a drop back on all 3 rods?
All 3 rods dropped back, and he's reeled them in. They were all cut about a metre in front of the rod tips.
Wow.
Very strange. It could only have been maybe an animal, but there was nothing there. Obviously,
did he have his tips under the water?
No. Oh, that'd be birds out there, look. No, his tips were just up. But yeah, I remember that being the weirdest thing that's definitely happened. Yeah.
Mental. Bait you would never leave home without? If you could choose one bait you would never leave home without.
It'd have to be a pop-up, really. Yeah, certainly a pop-up. It's difficult. I'm a milky malt man and a pink peril man. I'm a big fan.
Choose one.
Oh.
Take both.
I think, do you know what I'd do? Because you said bait, I would take a milky malt because I could change the colour of it.
How would you do that?
I've
I wonder.
no idea, Lee. But yeah, milky malts, I've always been a big fan of white. Milky malts, they're a great bait. I know some of the stuff Hughes has been doing underwater, it shows how the colour changes when it goes down, and white seems to be quite present at every depth. So yeah, so white, definitely a white pop-up.
Cool. Best item of kit?
At this present time, anything that is made by Tracker.
Oh, here we go.
No, my favourite item of kit has to be a Tempest. You know, I've been using it now for nearly 3 years, and they're so quick to put up. They pack down very small. They're very robust. They stand up well in the wind. Just a very good product. You can't really fault them. They've stood the test of time. They've been out quite a while now, and we've got various variations of them, from brollies to bivvies with high-end materials and stuff. But yeah, the Tempest V2 has got to be my favourite product of all. Yeah, most certainly.
Other bivvies obviously available.
Oh, obviously, other bivvies are obviously available by other manufacturers. But just for now, I'd say the Tempest V2 is the greatest thing ever made.
Last but not least,
Yeah,
ever blanked at Drayton?
I have blanked at Drayton. Yes, I've blanked at Drayton. In fact, if I'm really honest, I've blanked at Drayton twice.
Twice?
That's right, yeah. But I'm not the only angler to have blanked there twice. Young Tom Maker, he's blanked there twice.
Bartlett's blanked there
I know
as well.
Bartlett's blanked there. A lot of people blank there, but the thing is, I'm honest, and I would tell the world that I've blanked at Drayton. Drayton's actually changed a little bit now to when we used to go up there. I'm just explaining. They've done some great work up there. Years ago, you used to go up and the boards on the right-hand side. Oh. That did. I think that's still a lot of bird life over there, though. You'll see a bird over there in a minute with 3-ounce lead hanging out of its mouth. Drayton's had a lot of change on it. Years ago, on the right-hand side used to be some horrendous boards that used to stand on. They'd rock and move and bend, and you'd go through them and all sorts. So not so many people tended to go up there. But what they did recently is they drained it down, and they've put a great big wide section of boards run the whole length of the lake. Now at Drayton there always used to be 2 big shoals of fish, and if you get on those 2 big shoals you could club it all day long. But what's happening now is a lot of the time you'd go along the dam wall and you'd always catch off the dam wall, but now the fish are getting fed further up the lake. They tend to be hanging around, and it was my own fault. Mark the bailiff, he's a great guy, he's very helpful. He came round, but we were only up there for a few hours, being a little bit I suppose cocky.
It's the longest excuse in the world, this.
No, just explain.
I'm joking.
He said, did you not go to the boards to fish further up? And we thought, well, we'll probably grab a couple here, but it didn't come about. But yes, I have blanked at Drayton. Anything else, Lee?
And that concludes the interview. Legend.
Cool.
Well, unfortunately, nothing happened last night, but this morning, middle rod, same rod as the night before that went off.
That was
Ticked
unexpected.
round, leant into the fish,
the camera,
had it on for, I don't know, 30 or 40 seconds, and then it fell off.
Oh, it's come off.
No one likes to see that. I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted. But, it is what it is, I suppose. Just... it's still hurting me now, and we all have felt that pain, all of us that get out there doing fishing a lot, we've all lost fish and we all feel the same, I'm sure. Suicidal. So, yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately, but, on the plus side, that is the only 2 bites that have happened for the whole lake the last 48 hours. So would I have done anything different? Probably not. The only different thing I would have done was bring the switch with me, but the nut has done me 2 bites. If you said to me 2 days ago you're only going to go out and have 2 bites in January from a lake like Farlows, I'd have taken that all day long. The lake is rammed, the whole back bank. I think every swim's taken. We've got guys to our left, got people to our right. Go on. Middle rod's just give me a single beat, that'd be nice. Oh, that'd be lovely to end it all with a fish in the daylight. But yeah, like I say, the whole lake's rammed and no one's had a bite the last 48 hours since I've been here. So the only 2 bites have come to the nutter. You know, them little crush bags with a couple of 8mm in them and a load of little 8mm crushed up as well, has done the only 2 carp bites anyway. Excuse Bonesy's couple of bream from last night. He much enjoyed. Yeah, he ended up having 2 bream in the end, so he's been well and truly on tea duty today. So yeah, you know, that's probably the only thing I would have done that was different. I would have brought the switch along with me because the switch has done me well in the past, but like I say, the nutter has done me a couple of bites. We're on a very packed out Farlows. So yeah, unfortunately, session's coming to an end now. I've had a right laugh with Bonesy. You know, it's always great getting out on the bank with your mates, especially this time of year. You know, some of us take it a little bit too seriously, but me and Bones, oh, bless your little heart.
It's all right.
You know, I'm still a little bit suicidal from losing that fish earlier. So yeah, hence the Bones love. Sounds a bit dodgy, that, doesn't it? Bones love. Anyway, you know, I've had a great laugh with Bonesy, you know, and sometimes that's what it's all about. You've got your serious fishing at the right time of year, but winter time, get out with your mates, get out there, try and catch a few fish, and if you don't, you know, just have a good laugh.
Well, it's the end of the session. We had our highs, we've had our lows, but all in all, we've had a great time as always. This time of year, it's not the easiest of fishing. You need to be out there though doing it. You've got to go and get involved. You've got to keep in tune with what the waters are doing. You know, we could have landed here and with that little bit of a weather switch, they could have really got on it, and me and Moz could have had a great session. All in all, you learn something every time you go. You know, I had those couple of bream in the night, which, you know, it's always good fun. You always got to have a giggle when things like that happen. You've got to take it in your stride. It's part and parcel of what we do. And the bream, there is some big bream in here, so of course they will pick up the slightly bigger baits. I had a change of bait. What I did do last night was, because I felt where I'd baited, there may be quite a few bream hanging around there, I just moved the baits to the sides in the hope that a few carp were milling around looking at the bream feeding and I might pick something up, but sadly we didn't. Obviously Moz dropped that one this morning. That was a bit gutting. That was gutting for him as well. It's not an easy thing at this time of year to get a bite, let alone to lose it. It's, you know, but you pick yourself up, you just carry on. I don't think I'd have changed much, to be honest with you. I was fishing in an open water area. It was always, the bream don't tend to hang around the islands as much. They'd like the open water here. I was always going to pick up a couple. I was always going to end up making lots of cups of tea, which I have done. So yeah, I don't think I'd have changed much, to be honest with you. I'm quite confident in how I fished in the winter and how I was fishing here, and I know it works. It's just, you know, if the lake is packed, there is a lot of people down here, and I think the only fish, I think from what we've heard, the only fish to come out is the fish that Moz had 2 nights ago. That says everything about the lake. When there's a good 20 anglers on here and more, for it not to do any bites, that's just the way it is. We've had 4 guys come round earlier. They came to see us yesterday. They popped back this morning. 2 of them are DNA users, and we were chatting about the bait. But same for them. They haven't had any touches. We know that there's some fish down the other end of the lake, but unfortunately that end's pretty stitched up at the minute, so we couldn't get down there. But yeah, great session all in all. You've got to love going out with Moz. It's always a giggle a minute, and if you're not out here enjoying it, then you shouldn't be out here.